to the Island YouTube show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to my office, where we are going to be doing a brand new YouTube show every month so that you can stay up to date with what's going on. We're going to talk about all things Word of Life Island, and I think you're going to enjoy getting to see a little bit of behind the scenes of what goes on and getting to meet special guests. Every episode, we're going to have a new, different special guest with us. With us for our first episode ever, we have our friend, you guys know him, Brady James. Rolling up in style. How'd you get up the stairs?
It's really difficult. That was pretty sick. I can't lie, it was pretty dope. It was pretty dope.
Nice.
Woo.
Dude, welcome to my office. We're going to be,
good to be here.
Talking about the island.
Oh, hold on, let me shut this off. What's up, man? How's everything?
Dude, good to see you. I haven't seen you in forever.
It's been so long. I was in the area. I decided might as well just swoop on in. It's good to be here. I'll put this down.
Dude, Brady, welcome to our brand new YouTube show.
Thanks for having me,
yeah,
man.
dude, this is awesome. I'm so excited it worked out and that you are able to be here to be our first guest ever.
I'm assuming the first few guys bailed, so you just settled on me.
Yeah, we tried to get like this guy, I don't know, his name's AC.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, so it's good to have you to be a guest here on the show. Big and some big things happening with you. I want to just start off. So kind of just in the last month or so, some pretty big news about AC and Brady. You're kind of tell us a little bit about just kind of what's happening.
Yeah, so we ended up, both of us, we didn't really know what was going on, but we were both dating the same girl at the same time. No, just kidding. So when we were traveling last year, we were super blessed. Our first time on the road, first time going on a tour experience. Anthony kind of wasn't feeling it too much. He was going through a lot of things, very, very internally. And I moved in with him about a year ago to where we are at now in September. And he just felt like the Lord just wasn't calling him to music. And that really what the Lord had burdened on his heart is preaching. So he started interning at our church in Long Island. And he realized this is like where my home is. This is where God wants me. And so we've known for almost a year now that this decision to split as AC and Brady was coming. But we had to finish up a lot of contracts. We had just basically ride out the rest of the summer before we made that announcement. But it's seriously a huge, huge blessing. At first, when the news broke between me and him, and we had a big like family intervention. Our manager was there, his brother was there, our families, and he's kind of like, "Hey guys, this is what it is." And I remember I had legitimately like an identity crisis because I was like, I don't know who I am without this kid rocking with me. And if you would have talked to me in those first few months, I would have been like, I got no idea what's going on, and I'm really confused and scared. And as the time went on, the Lord really, just encouraged me, told me that this is where He's leading Anthony. And now he's happy, I'm happy. We're still super tight friends. He's still gonna work on music with me, but he's just not traveling as an artist anymore. So it's really awesome to see, because he's taking a full, Peter walk on water step of faith moment, because this thing that we've been doing has been working out so well. And a lot of people were like, why would you want to leave that? And he's like, I don't know, but the Lord's telling me to do that. So it's really cool the way, I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're super excited for AC too. And, but we're excited for you. And you're still doing music?
Yes, I have not retired yet.
You've done a couple shows now just as Brady. And we're actually doing something pretty exciting coming up this February.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is going to be the first time that we've actually talked about this in a public way. But we're going to be doing a live stream for the Super Bowl halftime show. So our youth groups, a lot of youth groups watch the Super Bowl together, and our goal is to provide kind of an alternative to watching the halftime show, because honestly, like, it's not normally God honoring. And this year it's two very provocative and ungodly ladies that are doing the show. So I think this is going to be an awesome year. So basically, youth groups that are watching the Super Bowl, when it gets time for the Super Bowl, they'll switch over to our live stream, and we're gonna have you there performing a couple songs live, but they'll be live streaming it to youth groups all over the country.
Right.
And we're gonna do some other stuff too. We'll talk more about that later, but there's gonna be gospel message and they're gonna actually get to hear from some players who played in the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, but I'm excited about this, that you're gonna be there with us for that.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be better than the actual halftime show.
I don't know about that. We'll see what
More
happens.
God honoring, I will say.
I think so.
yeah. One of the things we're gonna do on this YouTube show about the island is we're gonna just go back and talk about last summer and just kind of remember some of the fun things that happened. And so we had you there for a special week, Worship Arts Week, and you and Anthony were there and did a show. How was it? What was it like to be?
It's sick, dude. Going to play. I mean, I've been going to the island since I was 13, 14 years old. I remember being a little kid, like even before like music was so much a thing. I was like, man, like I would just love to, perform here and just be part of what's going on. Whether it's on staff or even being a camper, like I just want to be involved in every single thing possible. So whenever we get a chance to come play a show at the island, it's like coming home. It's like nothing but love. So many new faces, but so many old faces of people I basically grew up with, and it's impacted me.
It's so crazy, to think about you as a camper, like if you could rewind to your 13-year-old self on the island and then somehow have a glimpse that you would someday be back here. And that show that we had last year during Worship Arts Week was insane, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always think about that. Like if you could have seen yourself there, it would have just blown your mind, right? To be able to go
insane. It's literally what I've always wanted to do. And the Lord's been really faithful to somebody who doesn't deserve his faithfulness and has been like, hey, I'm going to give you exactly what you wanted to do. And it's crazy. So much fun. That show is nuts. The island always shows so much love. That's some of our most hype, fun shows. Whenever you play a show and there's a decent amount of people who actually know the songs and the songs have impacted them, it just makes the experience so much better for me.
Yeah.
I
don't know. So I was kind of off to the side for a while because it's normally really hot in Pine, and I was just actually chilling outside. And AC walked over, and he was just coming into the green room to get a drink of water or something. And he was like, "Oh, I guess you've seen one concert. You've seen them all." Gave me a hard time. So I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go in there." So I think you saw me from the stage. I went to the back, and I made my way all the way down to the front row, and I was standing on the bench, but it was crazy. Everybody in there was singing so loud. The first beat would drop to the next song, and they would just go nuts because they would know what song it was. Yeah. And that was a really special night we had on the island.
Did you notice when a certain somebody who will not be named ended up hitting me in the face with a CO2 air cannon?
I was standing outside, and someone came out, and they were like, "Oh, AC just blasted Brady right in the face."
Oh, we won't say who it was.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I just picked AC as any random two letters.
Yeah, anybody.
Yeah. One of the other cool things about Worship Arts Week, and it's true for you guys and for all the other guests that we had with us, is you guys then came back the next day after the concert, and we did a question and answer time. Yeah. All the campers got to interact with you guys and ask you questions about just what it's like to be an artist and travel.
And to us, if we can do that everywhere we travel, that would make it 100 times more worth it to us, because when we have that interaction with, I don't like to say fans, but people who don't know us but they're a fan of our music, because they just act especially these kids growing up in a generation that is we were talking about earlier off camera, so lonely and going through so much depression and anxiety. For them to be able to sit down with us or come up to us and be like, so how do you guys deal with these issues? That means the world to be able to answer it. So that was so much fun being able to do that at the island and answering those questions. And the questions are so funny. It ranged from you know, like like I said, like how do you deal with depression to like, you know, like what's your favorite cereal? It's like very opposite ends of the spectrum.
I loved so we also had Brian Drake, who's an illusionist, and he did a show. I think you guys were earlier in the week, so later in the week he did a show, and he did the same thing. He did a question and answer, and one of the campers, maybe even watching this, she came down to ask a question, and she was like, totally dead serious. She goes, he's like, yeah, okay, your question. She's like, how much money do you make?
Oh, wow.
And he was like, I'm not sure that I'm ready to, you know, disclose that, but I will say God has met my needs, you know, or whatever. It was
That's
so
a
funny
answer.
though. Yeah.
Kids are savage. They don't care.
It wasn't a joke though. She was like, how much money do you make?
Yeah,
in a year.
Like I need numbers.
She was probably trying to figure out, could I do this as a living?
Honestly, yeah.
Like, so that was fun looking back at last summer. Tons of great memories. That was an awesome concert, awesome week, and it's good to have you guys there. One of the things we also are going to do every show is we're going to talk about next summer. We're going to kind of look forward to something coming up. And what I want to do actually is so you've had the cherry limeade, right? You've had the cherry limeade. Huge. I mean,
big fan.
We had no clue what the cherry limeade was going to be when we rolled that out.
Right.
I thought, you know, let's do something new. We hadn't had anything new in the Snack Shack for a while. Cherry limeades are good. I had one at Sonic. I was like, see if we can do this. We have sold thousands of cherry limeades just in the last 2 summers. So we want to. We're looking for something new that we can do in the Snack Shack. So I thought maybe today we could test out a couple new options and just kind of see if we like if we want to add someone to So
do we have Edric bringing us the drinks right now?
No, that would be funny though. The magic drink button.
Like, where's that?
All right, so let's start off first with let's try the cherry limeade milkshake.
Yeah. Thank you, Pablo.
So, just be honest. What are your initial thoughts, cherry limeade milkshake? Good idea, bad idea? What are you thinking is going to happen right now?
It's highly experimental to me. Like, because cherry limeade is such, like, to me, a soft drink idea.
Right.
So to add it with ice cream, I'm actually very nervous.
To me, the lime flavor in the ice cream, I think, is going to be weird.
Yes, yeah. 100%. Might upset the stomach.
Yeah. Cherry and ice cream, normal. Lime and ice cream, I don't know. Let's
Ooh, okay. It's like Fear Factor.
I don't know. I guess that's what you have to do, right? That's what you do with the cherry limeade.
Yeah.
Oh, it made ice cream even look weird.
Yeah, you know, I might just, skip over that. All right, you take a sip first.
So here we go. Cherry limeade milkshake. Actually, I like it.
That is not bad. That is not bad at all.
The lime juice on the top's not good.
All right,
I should have not squeezed the lime.
You ever smell like a balsa wood candle before?
I have.
Nothing like that at all.
You're exactly right.
Not even close. No, that's really good actually. I don't know if I'm just super thirsty, so it's tricking me. You gotta do like a. Oh yeah.
I could see this being popular.
Yeah, this is actually good.
I just got a cherry. All right.
Give us a minute here. We gotta finish it.
The next one. This is loosely inspired by a drink that they have in Word Life, Florida, called a Bolt Jolt, and this isn't a Bolt Jolt, but this is going to be a slushie with some Pop Rocks in it. And we're just going to try this first. Before some future episode, we'll try a real Bolt Jolt. But first, we're just going to see what happens if you put Pop Rocks in a slushie. I've heard that this is good.
Yeah.
I've got the red team slushie.
I got the blue team slushie with the red Pop Rocks. Wow.
Yours is popping a lot more than mine.
Yeah. I don't know. Could that mean something?
Do you think...
Like personality-wise,
maybe this isn't enough Pop Rocks. Double up Pop Rocks.
Yeah, we might need to double up on that. Don't try this at home, kids.
I could see this being a fun drink.
Yeah. Yeah, like super, woo, fun. Oh, dude,
whoa.
Come on, guys.
Something is up with the blue.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna dip her.
Oh, mine's popping a little.
Yeah, hey, yours is popping,
It's
brother.
popping.
Come on, brother. Alright, let's see.
Oh, it got on my face when I tried to drink it.
Hey, I'm gonna give mine a couple minutes, baby. Alright, this table's a mess.
It's an experience.
You can call it that.
The Pop Rocks are good. The slushy, I think, it's not as slushy anymore. It's a little more.
The Pop Rocks are definitely good.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really mess that up though.
I think it's more of an experience than any drink we have had so far. But it's kind of an unusual, because you get a bunch of the slushy like ice, and then that melts, and then what's left is the Pop Rocks.
You ever actually eat like WT-40?
I never have.
Neither do I, but this is pretty good.
All right, so let's jump back. Cherry limeade milkshake. One out of 10. Where are you at on the cherry limeade
Oh,
milkshake?
7.5. 7.5.
Yeah.
The recipe isn't finessed yet.
I think that's
The
a good
potential
point.
is 100% there, though.
Potential is 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I would say recipe
Maybe
right
9.5,
now.
but we could argue about that later.
Recipe, I felt like what we had was good.
Yeah.
I'd say probably 7 or 8. Where you at on the slushy with the Pop Rocks?
Potential
We'll call
level?
it just a poppin' slushy.
Pop and slush. Potential level? It's sitting around a 7 or 8 for me. Like, it could be really good.
Full-blown potential.
Yeah, it's like a 7 or 8.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if it'd be my favorite one,
Mm-hmm.
but I could see kids really liking it, you know. Some teenagers looking for a good pop and slush.
To me, I'm thinking, like, this is really fun to have one. Like, just for the experience.
Right.
Like, just, yeah. Try it. It's Pop Rocks. When's the last time you had Pop Rocks?
Yeah, like, you know.
It's probably not going to be a daily drink. I don't know. I might be wrong.
And
Sure.
that's what it is. It's like a good song. Sometimes a song you listen to it, you're like, how did they do this? But then there's other songs that you're like, oh, it's very basic, but the replay value of that basic song compared to the one that takes you on a journey, that's like the Poppin' Slush, where the cherry lime milkshakes, that's like an everyday, you know, pretty basic.
Wow.
Like that.
Wow, we just got deep on this.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm
hit! Oh, it's an experience for sure, Tom.
I think for round one, for just being what this is, slightly melted slushy with Pop Rocks, I think it's pretty good. It's better than I was expecting. I might have put too many Pop Rocks in.
Yeah, I think that
It's
was
hard to tell.
the recipe is at like a 4 out of 10 to me right now.
The recipe's falling behind, but
Potential's a good 7.
what's your go-to Snack Shack order?
Go to, I got 2 things. Does coffee house count?
Yeah.
Let's
say your go-to top of the rock order.
Okay, top of the rock orders. Go to for me, I believe it's the white face. White face is fire. And honestly, cherry limeade. Whenever I go to the island, cherry limeade. It has to be cherry limeade. Can you keep that in your mouth, please? Make me uncomfortable.
It's really popping over here.
Todd's just popping. You getting it?
All right. I think that's good. I think this is a good experiment. Gives us something to look forward to.
That was popping.
That was, dude. I think that's gives me some good fuel. Work on the recipe a little, and we'll just kind of see as episodes go on where we end up for next summer. So, if anyone watching has any other drink ideas or anything they'd like to see us feature in the Snack Shack, definitely comment. Let us know, and we'll see. Maybe the next hit Island Snack Shack item will come from comments on one of these episodes.
That would be pretty legendary.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Whoever that is, they should get that drink free for life.
Oh, 100%. We should name the drink after that
True.
person.
Yes. Yeah. And then they could be like, I'll take a Brady James.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they'll
I'm
be like,
going to leave a lot of comments after this on this
Yeah.
exact video because I have some ideas I wanted to share with you, but I'll just comment it.
Hey, speaking of comments, that's actually a great segue because I want to talk about something maybe a little more serious, maybe a little more real life, especially for students who are watching this. I want to talk a little bit about social media use. Social media, there's all these different views on it. Some people love it and they're on it all the time. Some people have like gotten off of it. Some people don't use it. Some people, their parents maybe don't let them. I know there's like so many different things on it, but I just want to ask you, as somebody who is an artist, who is needing to use social media just for, your brand, for communicating about important things related to your music, but just in general, what are your thoughts on, like, do you do anything to kind of like regulate how much you do, or what about reading what people say and stuff like that?
Yeah. This is a huge topic, something that I've definitely wrestled with a lot. Being an artist, it kind of sucks because your complete brand, like the number one way it lives besides a live experience, is through social media. And so that put a lot of pressure on me. That put a lot of weight on my shoulders to get certain numbers higher. And it took me a very long time, and it's still a very like daily battle for me to understand that like that number on your screen that most time isn't even accurate, which people don't understand, that it's so easy these days to falsify that number, that number doesn't validate you. And I'm so guilty of doing this. And again, something I fight against is somebody reaches out, messages me, maybe sends me like a song or something. I get that a lot. And immediately, normally before I even look at the content of their message, I look at how many followers they have. And to me, that is literally the same thing that Jesus talked about, treating a rich man better in the church than a poor man. Because based on their follower count, it's very easy for me to treat them very differently. And now I watch a lot of branding stuff, a lot of like, marketing strategies, and they say that's a good thing to do because you want to know the person you're talking to. Like, okay, who am I dealing with? What are they interested in? So often than not, like, that leads to a bad, mind state for me that is really tough. I think balancing social media is understanding, first of all, what social media is and that it doesn't define you. And I think in today's generation, that is so hard to fight against, like extremely hard. Like, I grew up with that and dealt with it a little bit, but kids today, like, I can't imagine the type of, I guess, like anxiety they're going to struggle with through this stuff. So understanding what social media is and then learning how to balance it in your own life. For me, like, it not only is social media a big thing for me, but also just text messaging in general. I can literally take a whole hour answering messages and DMs that, I have put off for like a long time. And that's not like a flex or anything, but that's just like, I know how to value my time, and I know spending an hour doing this thing most of the time is not going to benefit my mindset. So my friends get on me sometimes, people close to me get on me like, oh, you never answer me, blah, blah, blah. I just don't like being attached to this thing. Like before we were looking at screen time like off camera, and I was like appalled by how much screen time I use, and I even feel like I don't use it as much as I know other people around me use their phones. And it's crazy. It brings about so much comparison. And I think so many times I'm so robbed of joy in my own life because of the comparison through basically social media. Is like, oh, this guy's doing these kind of numbers and he's been doing it less time than I have. Or the opposite, like, oh, I'm doing really well because look at this guy. This guy doesn't have the same thing. Right. And that is so toxic. That's not the way we were created to live in this comparison mindset, right? But rather keeping our eyes focused and not looking to the left or right. And social media makes it really difficult to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think really, if nothing else, at least just having the conversation about it, you know, at least just saying like, recognizing that it's when we just kind of like go forward blindly, just like social media has no effect on me. That's dangerous. Yeah. If you can go like, I know this has an effect on me. Let's talk about, let's look at like warning signs and, you know, even just looking at your screen time and knowing, well, this is how much time I spend on this. Yeah. That's better than not knowing, you know, knowing that gives you kind of a framework. Yeah, and then you can have have a conversation with it and say, what could I do that would help me, you know, be on social media better, you know, be a better representative of Jesus on social media. I think that's another one that a lot of people, they're on like normal as a person. They're like a good person, and then they get on there and, you know, it's like the filter just comes off.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And then you have the opposite effect of that. You know, the guy or girl that all she's posting is Bible verses, and then you're with them in real life, and you're like, are you even reading what's on your story 6 hours ago? And so you can completely falsify yourself on social media. You're only seeing, it used to be you're only seeing the best out of people. Now it's really become you're only seeing what people want you to see and the persona they want to give off, which is very dangerous. And if you think about it, never in like history have we lived in a day or an age when we are like so connected in this way, and there's such an easy way to compare your life's worth to somebody else's life's worth.
Yeah.
That is so dangerous, especially when unregulated, like you said.
Yeah. All of this as we are on a YouTube show, right?
Yeah. Hit the subscribe, like and subscribe, click the little bell.
All right, so we're finishing up here, but we've got a really fun event happening on the island later this month. And I know a lot of our, probably a lot of people watching this, they live too far away. It's just 2 nights. But it's called Escape the Island, and super fun event. Youth groups come over, and it's kind of like a little bit of a haunted trail, and then there's some escape room features. There's kind of like this storyline. This year it's called The Asylum. Yeah,
I love that.
So it's gonna be scary, but it'll be a lot of fun. You've been there, I think, for some of this is our 3rd year doing it now.
Yeah,
so.
No, it's crazy. The whole drama team really like dresses up as, I don't know what they're dressing up as this year. Maybe some asylum zombie work.
Doctors.
Yeah. And they, they get so into like the point where like I know these kids. Like when I was going to school, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is a little freaky.
Yeah.
And so it's dope though.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a fun event. We're actually gonna go live from that event. So our YouTube followers are gonna get a little look at behind the scenes of that event a little bit and meet some of the characters. So we're looking forward to that. And we're going to be back next month. First Friday of every month, we're going to be back with another episode of our YouTube show. We're going to be talking about things, looking back last summer, looking forward to next summer, probably testing out some new drinks, and we'll have a different special guest with us every week. So Brady, dude, thank you so much for being here with us on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, dude, we're so excited. Of course, the whole Island family, huge fans, and we're excited to see just kind of where everything goes.
Sweet, man.
And
it's home team, man.
Yeah,
it's
man.
The home base. Right
hopefully,
here.
hopefully we can have you back on the island next summer too, and just do a big, huge concert.
Yeah, dude.
And then Super Bowl halftime show. That's gonna be the next thing that you're gonna see. You're gonna see Brady James on our Super Bowl halftime show. The real.
Unless they ask me to do something.
Okay, in that case, we'll down at the bottom of the contract, it's like unless I get asked to be in the real Super Bowl halftime show.
Which is very possible. You never know.
All right.
All right, let me zoom out of here, man.
All right. See you later, dude.
Catch you later, brother.
See ya. Got a nice ride there.
I'm gonna need a little help over here. Here we go.
All right. Subscribe, like, share, tell your friends. This is the Island YouTube show, and behind the scenes, looking back, looking forward. It's what you need to know about the island. Peace.